Hi friends, I Robinson. Welcome to our YouTube channel Star Science Robinson. Let's get into topic. Lymphatic system. So now we are going to discuss about the lymphatic system. First we have to know what is lymph capillaries, and we have to know lymph vessels, and then we have to know lymph nodes, and we have to know the lymph ducts and lymph circulation. So first of all, what is lymph capillaries? The lymph capillaries originates blind end tube in the interstitial space. I will show you in our diagram. So tiny capillaries of lymph joins up to form larger lymph vessels. All tissue of the body have a network of lymphatic vessels, with the exception of nervous system and bone and the most superficial layer of the skin. So now I am showing you the blood vessels, especially arterioles and veins and venules. So from the arterioles, the blood flows into the venules. So in between the space which is called as a interstitial space. Right now I am showing you in our diagram where the interstitial space are present. So now we can know how the lymph capillaries are present in between of the interstitial space. Now I am showing you the lymph capillaries, how it originate as a blind end tube in the interstitial space. So now I am showing you in between of the arterioles and venules, the space, interstitial space where the lymph capillaries are present. So the fluid which is being left when the arterioles passes the blood into the venules, that fluid, the lymph, will be collected by the lymph capillaries. So now I am showing you about the lymph capillaries, that is blind end tube in interstitial space. So it is a single layer of endothelial cells, and the lymph capillaries are same structure as the blood capillaries. So that the things which we have to remember about. The lymph capillary wall are more permeable to all interstitial fluid and constituent, including protein and cell debris. This is major important about the lymph capillaries. So next we'll move on to lymph vessels. Before going for the lymph vessels, you just remember, as I said previously, the tiny capillaries joins up to form larger lymph vessels. So right now I'm showing you how the smaller or tiny capillaries joining up to form a large lymph vessel. So this is the lymph vessels. So we have to remember about the greater important in our lymph vessel is it has a one-way valve, that is called as lymphatic valve. So right now I'm showing you to prevent the backflow of the lymph into the capillaries. The inner layer of the lymph vessels contains a valve, that is lymphatic valve, to prevent backflow of the fluid. So now we'll see about the cross section of the lymphatic vessels as I'm showing in our diagram. So the innermost layer which is having an innerly, that is endothelial cell layer. So that is the layer which is being present in a tunica intima. So the innermost layer of the lymph vessels which is called as a tunica intima, and it is a inner layer composed of smooth endothelium, and this layer contains valves in some lymph vessels to prevent fluid backflow. So this is about the innermost layer. So once again you just remember the innermost layer of the lymph vessel is called as a intima, tunica intima, and it is endothelial cell layer. So next we'll see about the middle layer, that is called as a tunica media. The middle layer composed of smooth muscles and elastic fibers. So that is the major importance that we have to remember about. So we'll see about the next layer, that is the outer layer, that is called as a tunica adventitia. It is strong outer covering composed of connective tissue as well as collagen and elastic fiber. So the main thing you have to remember is the inner layer, that is tunica intima, which has a endothelial cell layer. So when it is having a attachment of the inner layer, that cell, so in between it has a basement membrane. This is the diagram of the lymphatic vessels in cross section. So that is inner layer tunica intima, and the middle layer tunica media, and outer layer tunica adventitia. So this is about the lymph vessel. Now we have to see about the lymph node. It is approximately 600 bean-shaped glands or bulbs that tend to occur in cluster, much like grapes. The organ lie in a groups along the length of the lymph vessels, and it drains through 8 to 10 number of nodes. Outer covering of the capsule, as we written in our diagram, it is called as a capsule. So when we go for the cross section of our lymph node, inside we can find a tubercle. Right now I'm drawing that. So it is like a partition that passes from the arterioles to the venules. The blood which will be left in interstitial space, it's around 16%, which will be collected by the lymph capillary through lymph vessels and into the lymph node, where it will remove all the microorganisms, and then it will flow into the heart once again through lymphatic duct. This is hilum, where the artery enters and vein and afferent lymph vessels leave. Now in our diagram I am showing about the cortex region. Obviously when there is a cortex, we will have a medulla. Before that we'll deal about the cortex region. Cortex region has two parts. So first, the outer, it is called as a outer cortex. Right now I'm showing you. So it is about the inner cortex. The outer part of cortex is called as outer cortex. The inner part, it is called as a inner cortex. Now I'm showing you, this is about the medulla, lymph node, where I'm showing you certain cells, that is plasma cells. So now we have a plasma cell here, and we'll show some more cells, which is macrophages. Right now I'm showing you, it is macrophages, and we'll have some more cells which is called as a dendritic cells, and after that we will have a reticular cells, provide structural support, and they maintain the thin network of fibers that are a framework of the most lymphoid organs. They also direct B cells and T cells to specific region within the tissue. So we'll see later. So now I'm showing you about the one way valve. So it is called as lymphatic valve. So it will prevent the backflow of the fluid into the vessels and capillaries. So this is about, and now we'll see about the afferent vessel. So it is around 4 to 5 afferent vessels in one node, lymph node. Lymph node has only one efferent vessel that carries lymph away from the node after filtering and phagocytosis. So now we are seeing in our diagram, in this inner cortex we can see the T cells are present. So right now I'm showing you, so this is the T cells which is being present in our inner cortex, and in our outer cortex region we have a lymphatic follicles. In that we can see B lymphocyte cells. So that is the presentation. So it is in tubercular, in between we can find lymphatic follicles, in that B lymphocytes. The lymph from the lymph capillaries, and when it travels into the lymph vessels as an afferent, when it connects to the lymph node. Now I'm showing you in our diagram, where you will have the flow of the lymph into the lymph node through the afferent vessels. So right now I'm showing you how it passes in between of the tuberculi. So the name, when it passes from the afferent, when it enters in that place, it is called as a subcapsular sinus. So that is the place. And now I'm showing you, when it turns from the upper part to the inner part through the side of the tubercle, there it is called as a tubercular or cortical sinuses. First, from the afferent it will flow to the subcapsule sinus, and from there it will pass in between the tubercular sinuses, and when it enters into the middle region after the inner cortex, it is called as medulla. So where you will have a medullary sinus. So as every partition has the same function, and the flow will be different lymphatics. So now I'm showing you the artery which enters into the hilum of the lymph node, where it will give all the blood supply into the every partition of the lymph node. And I am showing you about the vein which is brought from the inner part from the lymph node to the outer through hilum. So when it passes from the outer cortex to inner cortex, the B lymphocytes will activate and T cells will be activated, and again T cells will activate B cells, and the cells, plasma cells and dendritic cells and macrophages, and then phagocytosis will be done here. Then the lymph will flow into the efferent lymphatics. Now we are going to see about the last phase of our topic, that is lymphatic duct and lymphatic circulation. So right now I am drawing the lymph duct. We have two types, that is the thoracic duct and right lymphatic duct. The thoracic duct, that is in T12, that is called as a cisterna coeli. So when it is downward, it will enter into the lumbar region, and it will enter into again two lower limbs. And if you see an upper, it will start going to upward, and when it moves forward at T5 vertebrae, and again it will go upward, and it will connect left subclavian vein at C7. That is the entrance of thoracic duct into the left subclavian vein. In our diagram, I am showing you about the right lymphatic duct, and next side, the left side, will have a thoracic duct. So that is the two things we can see in our diagram. So one more thing we have to remember, the right thoracic duct will supply to the head and neck at the same time, right upper limb and right side of the chest. So this is about the right thoracic duct. If you see about the left thoracic duct, which will supply to the head, neck and upper limb, and to the chest and abdomen, and to the lower limbs. So that is about the thoracic duct. As I said previously, the lymph capillaries will take the lymph into the lymph vessels and to the lymph node, where the phagocytosis will be done, and from the efferent of the lymph node, it will connect to the lymph duct, and it will bring back into the entrance of the left subclavian vein. And if you see about the right side, it will entrance into the right subclavian vein. So that is major important that we have to remember about the lymphatic system. The left thoracic duct, which brought all the lymph from the lower limbs and abdomen and thorax and chest, and from the head and neck and upper arm of the left side, will drain into the left subclavian vein, and the right side from the chest and from the head, neck and right arm will pour into the right subclavian vein. So this is about the right lymphatic duct and thoracic duct. A fluid which is being left in interstitial space, which is useful for the washing and clearing of the cell debris and washing of the cells. So this is about the lymphatic system. Thank you friends for watching this video. It's Star Science Robinson. Thank you once again.